The box. You open it, we came.
Hellraiser.
Servus Freunde, my name's Jimmy Cage.
And we have such sights to show you.
The trailer for Hellraiser featured a quote that stuck with me ever since.
I have seen the future of horror. His name is Clive Barker.
It's from Stephen King himself, and it was Barker's collection of short horror stories titled The Books of Blood that made fans of horror very curious for the upcoming author from Liverpool. And it was his 1986 published novel The Hellbound Heart which turned into the movie I want to talk about today. Why isn't the film called The Hellbound Heart? Well, they thought it sounded too much like a romance, so it became Hellraiser. Because Barker's own suggestion, sadomasochists from beyond the grave, was a bit too much. Hellraiser became Barker's feature-length debut, and he also wrote the movie himself. It's one of those horror films from my youth that had a huge impact on me. I've really seen a lot of horror growing up, but as it is, just a few titles really hold up many years later, and Hellraiser is definitely one of them. It's a dark, twisted, macabre and still powerful horror thriller that's also one of the few horror franchises from the 80s that's still going. I already talked about the other big one, Child's Play, last week, but Hellraiser has even more sequels, and to be honest, I've lost track a long time ago. The Hellraiser follow-ups are almost all direct to DVD and very bad. At least that's what I heard of, because to be honest, I stopped watching them a long time ago. With Hellraiser you basically just have to watch the first two, but those are really great. So if you hear Hellraiser you probably think about Pinhead. Like you think about Freddy with Nightmare on Elm Street, Michael Myers with Halloween, Leatherface with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Chucky with Child's Play, Jason with the Friday the 13th and so on. But with Hellraiser it's a bit different. This isn't your typical slasher type horror film, and Pinhead has a much smaller role than one might assume. In the first film the role isn't even listed as Pinhead. That was just a nickname first, and the official description was just lead Cenobite. He was played by Doug Bradley, who of course spent a lot of hours in makeup, but until we see him in the movie it takes over an hour, which is really long for a film that clocks in at pretty much exactly 90 minutes. And before anyone writes a comment, yes, we do see him right at the beginning, but really just for a few brief seconds, almost hidden in the shadows. Apart from that glimpse at our peculiar demon from hell or angel, we also get a mysterious puzzle box, candles, a sweaty man, hooks that shred through skin, chains with flesh chunks on them, and the remains of a face that got torn apart. Pretty great opening. It turns out that the sweaty man is named Frank, and he wanted to explore the boundaries of human experience. Beyond the limits, pain and pleasure, or something like that. Well, it didn't turn out so well and he got torn apart. But instead of collecting his body and soul completely, the so-called Cenobites,
demons to some, angels to others,
the so-called Cenobites missed a small part of him lying under the floor, and now that Frank's former lover Julia moved to his old house and her husband dropped a drop of blood on it, well, he's resurrected, at least partially. And those effects are one of the absolute highlights of the film. Now it's up to Julia to bring Frank, or what's left of him, new bodies so he can come back with full force. Hellraiser is a film that's driven mostly by bad people, and our heroine Kirsty, the daughter of Julia's husband, is definitely less interesting than her evil stepmom, Frank, and of course the mysterious Cenobites. But she's played by the lovely Ashley Lawrence, whose charm makes up for it. I really don't want to go into much detail about the plot. For me it's all about that creepy atmosphere, the great effects, the haunting score by Christopher Young, the voice of Pinhead, and the sadomasochistic flavor of it all. The finale might be a little bit too out there for some people, but I think both of them combined, the first Hellraiser and its sequel Hellbound, make for a really fascinating and disturbing Halloween horror double feature. If you haven't seen them yet, do yourself a favor. So in German I'd say Hellraiser Das Tor zur Hölle ist ein faszinierender, abgründiger Horrorfilm, der total raussticht aus dem 80er Jahre Slasher-Einheitsbrei und auch heute noch durch seine Atmosphäre begeistern kann. I give Hellraiser 9 out of 10. It's more like 8.6, but I don't do that.
We'll tear your soul apart.
Alright, that's it like always. Comment below and let me know what you think about Hellraiser and the Hellraiser franchise overall. You can hit me up on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram simply at the Jimmy Cage. And if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like, and make sure you hit that bell for what I have to tell.